Today we are going to start with a new subject, that is internal security of India. Just give me a minute. This is a very important component of paper 3 general studies. And roughly you get a question of about 50 plus 60 marks on this paper. 50 to 60 marks question roughly you will get from this paper, from this portion, internal security of India. The first question that we need to answer is, why this paper? Why do we talk about why internal security? The basic reason that this paper has been kept in civil services examination is, once you qualify this examination, once you become a civil servant, you will be responsible for managing the order and stability throughout the country. Please come. As a civil servant, as an IAS officer or as an IPS officer, your primary responsibility will be to maintain stability and maintain security throughout the country. That is why this paper has been kept, so that you are well aware, you are well conversed with the problems that you are likely to face once you join civil services. It could be problem related to law and order, it could be problem related to communal violence, it could be problem related to some civil war, there could be any challenge to internal security, there could be any challenge to peace and stability in the country. So since you are going to be a civil servant, your primary responsibility will be to maintain, to ensure stability and order throughout the country. That is the reason why this paper has been kept in civil services examination. We must know. And as I've told you, that roughly you will be getting a question of about 50 to 60 marks. And the beauty of this paper is that syllabus is well defined. Well defined means you can know that you can be asked question on the insurgency problem in Manipur. You could be asked question on Naxal violence. You could be asked question on Pahalgam attack. I mean, the questions are very clear. Syllabus is well defined. There are certain challenges to internal security, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and questions will be confined on that. If you're talking about Indian economy, you are not very sure what question you are likely to get. If you talk about Indian geography, you are not very sure. If you talk about science and technology, you do not know what questions you are likely to get. But yes, about this paper, you can be rest assured that before the examination, you come to know that these are the questions that this year you are likely to get in internal security of India. This is the beauty of this paper, and this is the advantage of preparing for this paper. Got a mind? So with little bit of preparation, and I can assure you, I can go to the extent of telling is that if you are attending my classes, if you are making some class notes, if you are going through the study material, you don't have to look for any other book. I mean, let me assure you, if you are attending the classes seriously, maybe for next 20, 25, 30 hours, if you are attending the classes, nothing beyond what we discuss in the class is going to be asked in the examination. Only thing is that you will have to go on updating it with the daily newspaper. If government has entered into some agreement with some extremist group, some insurgency group in Manipur, you will have to go on updating with that. Okay, so syllabus is well defined, and at least 50-60 marks you can prepare very nicely. That is what is good about it. All right, now what is the significance of internal security? Because ultimate goal of the government, ultimate goal of the state is to ensure all round development. As a civil servant, it will be your responsibility to ensure that development takes place. This is the responsibility of the government. But there cannot be any development without peace and stability. You have to understand that. You cannot think of development. You cannot think of any development. You cannot think of any growth of the country without peace and stability. And it is where the role of internal security comes. No development is possible without peace and stability in the country. And if you are facing internal security challenges, there cannot be any peace. If there is a violent attack, for example, we had a Mumbai attack, we had a Pahalgam attack, we had a Uri attack, we had a Pathankot air base attack. If such attacks are going on, you have a Naxal attack, cities of Naxal violence. Who would like to invest in Naxal-bound areas? Investors would be discouraged to invest in your country if there is no peace and stability. As simple as that. So for ensuring peace and stability, it is the fundamental responsibility of the state, it is the fundamental responsibility of the government to ensure that internal security of the country is in its shape, it is standard. All right. Now, why do we talk about internal security? Why do not we talk about external security? In fact, let me tell you, internal security and external security, the distinction between the two is blurred. I mean, you cannot think of internal security without external security. If there is an attack from Pakistan in China, can you think of internal security? Are you getting a point? So internal security and external security, the distinction between the two is blurred. In fact, I would like to refer to Kautilya if you know about this. Kautilya, long time back, Kautilya talked about security. Kautilya said there are 4 internal security threats. One, internal. Other, third, internal but externally added. Fourth, external but internally added. Added means supported. He talked about 4. Kautilya talked about 4 components of security. See, look into the period when Kautilya was there. And this remains relevant even now. Internal, you are all aware. Naxal violence is an internal problem. Separatism in Jammu and Kashmir is an internal problem. Okay? Insurgency in Northeast, internal problem. Communal violence, internal problem. So first is internal, then is external. Your enemies from outside. You get an attack from Pakistan, you get an attack from China. Your external enemies. Okay? Third is internal but externally added. Now what it means? The threat is from within, but they are supported by outside force. For example, separatists in Jammu and Kashmir, supported by ISI from Pakistan. Insurgency in Northeast, getting weapons from China, getting weapons from Myanmar. Internal but externally added. Fourth, external but internally added. Means terrorists from Pakistan coming into India, getting Indian support. See, there cannot be any terrorist attack without a local support. There cannot be any terror attack without a local support. So, who are supporting them? So, external but internally added. So, what Kautilya talked about years and years and years back still remains relevant. This is what is the subject matter of security that we are going to discuss. All right. What you need to understand, in fact, how significant is this challenge of internal security? For this, I would like to refer to, there is a 43rd Parliamentary Committee report on internal security of India released by Ministry of Home. For a very, very brief moment, 43rd Parliamentary Committee report. The 43rd Parliamentary Committee report of Ministry of Home very clearly mentions what it mentions. It says that out of 535 districts in India, out of total 535 districts in India, 210 districts have one or the other internal security threats. This means almost 40% of the region of the country, almost 40% of the area of the country suffer from some internal security challenges. This is not my statement. This is the statement of Ministry of Home. This is the admission. This is the fact which has been admitted by the Parliamentary Committee report, 43rd Parliamentary Committee report. This means, now, how serious is the challenge? Look into the magnitude of the problem that government itself is admitting. Government itself is accepting that out of 535 districts, in 200 districts, we have one or the other internal security problem. So almost 40% of the area. So you can well understand why internal security is a serious challenge and why it is a very, very important component of this paper. Okay, you need to consider that. When we talk about internal security, when we talk about external security, the question is there any term? Is there any term which can include both internal security as well as external security? Is there any term which can include, which can incorporate both internal security and external security? Yes, there is a term. And because sometimes you get confused when they ask you something about, when they use the term national security. National security has got two domains. Okay, one domain is what we call internal security, and another is external security. Okay, we get two domains. Internal security and external security. Wang Chuk, he has been arrested. Under which act? National Security Act. Huh? Why has been arrested? Because he is considered to be a threat to the peace of the region. Right or wrong? We are not going to discuss that. Right or wrong? Majority of the people will say it's not correct. Okay, but he has been arrested. Means he is a threat to the security. That is why he has been arrested. He is a threat to the peace and stability of the region. That is why he has been arrested. Okay. Now, internal, external. There are two different domains. This is a domain which comes within the purview of Ministry of Home. Huh? This is a domain which comes within the purview of Ministry of Home. This is a domain which comes within the purview of Ministry of Defense. No confusion. Huh? Internal security comes within the purview of Ministry of Home, and external security comes within the purview of Ministry of Defense. Yes. Ministry of Home, Ministry of Defense. Okay. Means, what do we think, what do we consider here? Any threat to the law and order, if there is any threat to the law and order from sources within, what happened? Saturday no classes. Why? Some SSC agitation, and that could disrupt the peace. Okay, so no classes. Huh? It could create a problem of law and order, so no classes. Law and order, something related to peace and stability. Internal security, something related to law and order, something related to the peace and stability of the country. Okay. Something which is related to quality of governance, what the government is doing. Quality of governance, whether government is able to protect the life of the people or not, whether government is able to secure the life of the people or not. This is something which is related to, national cohesiveness, or you can say national unity. It is something which is related to national cohesiveness, something which avoids conflict. National cohesiveness means people are living together, people are coexisting together. Huh? A sense of unity, and integrity. Huh? Yes. National unity, national cohesiveness, communal harmony. Huh? Communal harmony, this is something which will, communal harmony, this is something which will be covered in the internal security. Huh? Now, when we talk about external security, when you talk about external security, what comes to your mind? When you talk about external security, what comes to your mind is you are basically concerned with what we call threat from outside. Threat from outside the territorial boundaries. Threat from China, threat from Pakistan, threat from Nepal. Threat from outside the boundary, okay? Beyond the boundary of India, beyond the territorial jurisdiction of India, that is threat from outside. Means, for example, cross-border terrorism. Huh? Example, cross-border terrorism. Cross-border terrorism. Okay. Other example, FICN, circulation of fake currency notes from outside the border. FICN, circulation of fake Indian currency notes that comes from Pakistan and from Bangladesh. Drugs smuggling, external security. FICN, fake Indian currency notes. FICN, Indian currency notes. FICN, fake Indian currency notes. Huh? Drugs smuggling. drug smuggling, arms smuggling, anything that comes from across the border. Okay. Basically, here we are primarily concerned with. See, I would request all of you at least for 2 hours, at least for 2 hours. See, most of the time you are together only, but so long as I'm with you, your focus should be on me. Huh? Focus should be on me. Whether you write it or not write, you don't write, you are making notes or not making notes. I have no problem in that. But focus should be on me. And focus should be more on what I am saying. Okay, more on what I'm saying, less on this, because this I'm writing for my satisfaction. Sometimes you may not be able to read because my handwriting is so good that sometimes you may not read it also. Okay, so don't worry, but you can ask me 10 times, but focus should be on what I'm saying. Okay, 2 घंटे तक सिर्फ पेशेंस रखिए, 2 घंटे तक। और इसका एडवांटेज क्या होगा ये आपको बाद में पता लगेगा, यू विल कम टू नो लेटर, अभी तो नहीं पता चलेगा आपको, बिकॉज यू हैव नॉट अचीव्ड दैट लेवल ऑफ मैच्योरिटी। हाँ, तो अभी आपको पता नहीं चलेगा, लेकिन आपको बाद में पता चलेगा कि इसका एडवांटेज क्या होता है, डिसएडवांटेज क्या होता है ना। यू हैव कम हियर टू स्पेंड योर टाइम, यू कुड हैव कंफर्टेबली स्लेप्ट एट होम, अभी तो बारिश हो रही है, पकौड़े खा रहे होते बाहर में, ज़्यादा अच्छा लगता है आपको, है ना। बट सिंस यू आर हियर, focus on what you are meant to be. And I always say, the examination which you are preparing for, at least give a respect to that examination. Huh? Give a respect to that you are going, because you are preparing for a civil services examination. So at least it should be reflected on your personality. Yes, I'm preparing for this. You know. Okay. So anything that comes from across the border and that threatens the security of the country. Anything that comes from across the border and threatens the security, that would be coming under the external security concept. Okay. Now, so that is about national security concept. Now, in today's world, let me again tell you, in today's world, the word security that we are talking about is not only used in the confines of internal or external security. It is being used far beyond. Okay, it is being far. It is a broad-based concept. Okay, it is a broad-based concept. In fact, it is no longer confined to maintenance of law and order, because if there is a challenge of internal security, what will happen? What will happen? It can be a threat to the life of the people. It can be a threat to the security of the people. It can be a threat to the security of the property of the people. ये हो सकता है. This are going to happen. It can lead to disruption of peace. Okay. It can lead to loss of life. It can lead to loss of property. This is what can happen. But the focus is on what? The focus is on what? The focus is on security of the people, and the focus is on security of the property of the people and security of the property of the state. Focus is on that. All right. But think for a moment that somebody doesn't have 2 squares meal, 2 वक्त का खाना नहीं है. How long he can survive? Without food, how long one can survive? Maybe a week. That's what it is. There is no water. How long you can survive? Maybe a couple of hours. You cannot survive without water. Right. I'm taking you to the point because security is a broad-based concept now, far beyond internal and external security. Nowadays, what happened during pandemic? COVID-19? Huh? If there is a firing by police, you could die. if there is COVID-19, then also you could die. Ultimately, you are going to lose your life. Now, whether you lose your life in the without having any food, without having any water, or if you lose your life by some terrorist attack, consequence is the same. You lose your life. What the point? So, modern concept of security. See, there are two concepts of security. One is the traditional concept of security, and another is the modern concept of security. Okay. When you talk about law and order, when you talk about defense, when you talk about armed forces, we are talking about traditional concept of security. Okay. But the modern concept of security goes far beyond that. Now we also talk about something called, we talk about the health security. Now we have realized after pandemic that health is equally important. Establishment of health centers in every nook and corner of the village is very, very important. Why? Because if this is not there, you cannot survive. Okay. Why the government of India is providing free food to 80 crore population? Now let me ask you this question. Our prime minister very proudly says, we are giving food to 80 crore population. This means out of 140 crore population, 80 crore, more than 60% of the population is dependent on the free food which is given by the government. And if that is not there, they would starve. So can we say that food security is also very important? Huh? Can we say that water security is also very important? Can we say that climate is also very important? Global warming, threat of global warming, can we say that? Huh? Can we talk about environmental security now? Environmental security. So in modern concept of security, it is not only traditional concept of security is confined to law and order. It is confined to military. It is confined to police. It is confined to defense. But modern concept of security goes beyond that. It's much more inclusive. We talk about health security. We talk about food security. We talk about water security. We talk about environmental security. Got my point? So you can be asked a question, and I'm not saying only in this paper. This question could be asked as a part of GS any paper, but you should be aware of the fact that whenever we talk about security, it should not remain confined only to internal or external. This is a modern concept of security, and this is the difference. They could ask you a question: what is the difference between traditional and modern concept of security? And you should be able to answer that. This is the difference between traditional concept of security and modern security, because ultimately, this ultimate responsibility of the government is to provide security to the people. Whose security we are talking about? Why do we talk about internal and external security? We are talking about because we are worried about the safety of people. The most fundamental thing, the most fundamental thing. See, I always say, you provide a ration card to the people, you provide a voter's ID card to the people, you provide Aadhaar card to the people, but if you are not able to provide them, two square smell. The basic amenities of life: food, clothing, shelter, health, education. 5 things. We must have an access. We can even talk in terms of educational security. Yes, why not? Okay, so the concept of security has undergone a change. Okay. Now, When we talk about national security, let us come take some points now for a moment. Let us talk about national security as a whole. What should we be concerned with when we talk about national security? Okay. On what depends the national security of the country? For example, they ask you the question, hmm, what are the core elements, okay, that could ensure national security? The core elements that could ensure national security. The first thing that comes to mind is everything depends on economic strength of the country. Hmm? What are the core elements of national security? Economic strength, because this is the main thing. Okay. Second thing that I would like to put here is national cohesiveness, means togetherness, brotherhood, national cohesiveness. People that think that they are a part of this nation, they're a part of India as a nation, national cohesiveness. Okay. Internal peace, no disturbance. A strong sense of nationalism. If there is strong sense of nationalism, you would not fight on the trivial issues. A strong sense of nationalism. Hmm? Good governance. Hmm? Ability of the country, capability of the country, ability of the country to maintain political oblique economic sovereignty. Nobody should be able to put a threat on this. Ability of the country to maintain political and economic sovereignty. Hmm? Ability of the country to maintain political and economic sovereignty. Hmm? And the last point, and the very vital point, huh? Autonomy in the decision making. This is very important. Autonomy in the decision making. Government should not be under pressure of any other country. Hmm? The Trump goes on saying 31 times, 32 times, I stopped the war. Huh? Give me the Nobel Peace Prize. I stopped the war. Huh? I stopped 7 wars. I am eligible for Nobel Peace Prize. And that is why he's very upset with the Indian Prime Minister, because he did not nominate him. Huh? Narendra Modi never said that he should be given. The Pakistani Prime Minister said no, he should be given Nobel Peace Prize. So that is why he's very upset. Huh? Means the decision that we take should be keeping in view our own national interest. You know? So these are the things that is required These are things that is needed to maintain national security, and without this, it is not possible. Okay, so these are the core elements of national security. Okay, now the question that comes up is, during recent times, India's internal security environment as well as external security environment, now try to understand what I'm saying, has undergone a rapid change. India's internal security environment and external security environment, what happens within the country and what happens outside the country, okay, has undergone a rapid change during recent times. What are the factors? What are the factors why it has undergone a change? Okay, now, now try to understand the question that I'm putting is, the problem of internal security that we faced after becoming independent in 47, or the problem of internal security that we are facing in 70s, or that we are facing in 80s and 90s, and now the problem that we are facing now, it has undergone a change. Why it has undergone a change? Can we talk about some reasons of a change in India's internal and external security environment? Let us put that, because law and order is not simply the job which could only be maintained by the police. Huh? There's something beyond that. Okay. Why it has undergone change means I'm going to talk about now changes in India's internal and external security environment. Okay. See, in this first class of internal security, I will be talking at the macro level. Okay. And next class onwards, I will take a micro level. We'll take one problem, we take terrorism, we take Naxalism, we take insurgency, like that. But in first class, everything is covered at the macro level. That is the background. Okay. Now, so changes in India's internal and external security environment. Changes in India's internal oblique external security environment. Some points. Why it is, how it has changed. Okay. First, you have to understand, development of missiles and nuclear weapons. They have played a very important role. Development of missiles and nuclear weapons. Now, Pahalgam attack, Operation Sindoor. What happened after that? India attacked some terror training camps inside Pakistan. Okay. Had the war not been stopped, had Pakistan used nuclear weapons, are you getting my point? And the security threat that it could have caused. So, we are talking about changes in India's internal and external security environment. So, we talk about development of missiles and nuclear weapons. This is the first one fundamental factor. Okay. Second is increased cross-border terrorism. Increased cross-border terrorism. The problem in Jammu and Kashmir, it is not only an internal problem, It is external problem. Increased cross border terrorism. Hmm? Increased cross border terrorism from across the border. This means internal and external is getting blurred, it's getting mixed. Okay, increased cross border terrorism. Emergence of non state actors. Emergence of non state actors. State actors. I'll just explain. If Pakistan does an attack on India, if China does an attack on India, China and Pakistan both are state actors. Okay? But if some fundamental, some terrorist outfit, Lashkar-e-Taiba, just name Muhammad, they attack, they are doing terrorist attack, supported by state actors. Supported by state actors. Means supported by ISI. Now the terrorists, when they are crossing over the border from Pakistan to India, do you think they can do it without the support of the Pakistani army? They will never do it. This means what? The state actor is supporting non-state actors. So those terrorist outfits, those fundamental outfits, they are known as non-state actors. So there is a threat not only from Pakistan, Pakistani army, there is also a threat from Pakistan's based terror groups. They are non-state actors. Lashkar-e-Taiba, just name Muhammad, okay, and so many outfits that are there. Agree on when? So emergence of non-state actors, they have. This is something which has brought about a change in India's internal and external security environment. Okay. Now, other point that we can mention here is growth of Islamic fundamentalism. Now, what is Islamic fundamentalism? Can someone clarify what is Islamic fundamentalism? What is Islamic fundamentalism? Growth of Islamic fundamentalism. Growth of Islamic fundamentalism. Huh? What is Islamic fundamentalism? What is Islamic fundamentalism? What is fundamentalism? Fundamentalism is orthodoxy. Huh? What is orthodoxy? Huh? My religion is better than all. No, Shias would say our religion is better than Sunni religion. When Shiites and Sunnis, they are the two important sects in Pakistan, they are fighting for purification of Islam. Huh? They are saying our religion is more pure than your religion. What do you find? So growth of Islamic fundamental, and this means taken the extreme form. इसको आप, the other term which you can use, religious orthodoxy. The term which you can use, religious orthodoxy. Huh? Why there is a clash between Hindus and Muslims? Why do we talk about jihad? No, why we talk about the kafirs? Why do we talk about them? This is the example of orthodoxy. Huh? Now, when during the Kamar Yatra, you know what happens? What do we do during the Kamar? What the UP government has done during Kamar Yatra? You know, all the shopkeepers should be putting a board that you are a Hindu. Which community do you belong? What is your name? What is your address? What is your religion? Huh? Why do you want to do that? Why do you want to do that? Why you want to divide the people in the name of religion? Huh? Okay, so Islamic fundamentalism or orthodoxy. Okay. Why it has become very significant? Narcotics. oblique arms smuggling. Narcotics and arms smuggling. Narcotics means drugs. Okay? Narcotics and drug smuggling. Why it has become very significant? Illegal migration. Huh? Bangladeshis who try to cross over the border. Hmm? Illegal migration. Illegal migration from across the border. Illegal migration from across the border. Left wing extremism. Now, what is left wing extremism? Left wing extremism is basically Naxalism. Hmm? Left wing extremism is basically Naxalism. Why do we call it left wing? Because it is influenced by communist ideology. Okay? Hmm? कर दीजिए. Left wing extremism or Naxalism. Okay? So, these are the changes that have taken place. Okay? In India's internal and external security environment. Now, coming to the question of this security that we are talking about, okay, it is also security is also a psychological. It is also a psychological and perceptional concept. अभी आपको समझ में आएगा. Security is psychological plus perceptional concept. Okay? Why? What is psychological concept? What is psychological concept? What do you feel about security? Are you feeling secured? If I tell you, go out of your house alone at 2 o'clock midnight, can you go that? Why can't you go that? Why can't you go? Why can't you go? Because you are not feeling secure. Huh? This psychological concept. You are not feeling secure. Okay. Another example. You are driving a vehicle, and by mistake, you have hit some car. Huh? You have done some accident. Okay. Or you have hit a auto rickshaw wala, and and 20 auto rickshaw walas, they will come and surround you. Huh? How would you feel? अब तो नहीं बच सकते, अब तो गए. What is that? What is that? Means you are not feeling secure. So security is something. It is something psychological. Whether you are in your mind. See, for security, internal security to exist, huh, you are sleeping at home. No, when the Operation Sindoor was going on. And what happened? Why were you listening to news every time? Huh? Why were you listening to news every time? Because you may thought there may be some attack, there may be a nuclear attack. Huh? And there is a question of your survival. Psychological concept. Okay? Now, from this arises a concept, what we call the perceptional concept. Before entering the class, before entering this classroom, did you look within your chair कि कोई बम तो नहीं रखा हुआ है? Did you look that? Why? Why did you do that? Because you had a perception कि यहाँ पे कुछ भी नहीं हो सकता. You had a positive perception कि nothing will happen. And this perception, this is what we want to create. This is the goal of internal security, that we want to inculcate a feeling of security in the minds of people, that we are secure. You have a sound sleep in the night only because you know that your borders are safe. You have the army people manning the border. That is why you are able to sleep. Why do you bolt the door? And you do not only bolt the door. When you put a lock, you put it 10 times like this. बंद है कि नहीं है? ताला बंद करने के बाद 10 बार उसको खींच के देखते हो. कई बार लटक भी जाते हो उस पे. हाँ, कि कहीं खुला तो नहीं छोड़ दिया हमने. Why? This is the feeling. So this is a psychological concept and also a perceptual concept that you will have to understand. Okay. Now, whether the question is whether citizens are feeling safe or not. Whether citizens are feeling safe or not. Compare Delhi and Bangalore. I can tell you the difference. I have seen females openly walking on the road even at 12 o'clock midnight, feeling safe. Such safety is may not be there here, because it is this. You do not get that kind of feeling. Okay, so it is a psychological and a perceptual concept that also you will have to understand. Okay, now coming to the question of why internal security is a significant challenge for a country like India. Let us try to understand this. Why internal security is a significant challenge for a country like India. So we write internal security, why a significant challenge for India. Let us try to answer why internal security is a significant challenge for a country like India. Okay. Now, what is the first point that comes to your mind? Why it is a very serious challenge for India? Why? Why it is a significant challenge for India? Why internal? Huh? Mm-hmm. Go ahead. Area. Geographically. Okay. Okay. You are talking about that huge geographical coverage. This is your point? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Internal security is a very serious challenge for India. The right point here said. The first point that I would like to put upon here is huge population. You are the most populous country in the world, and providing security to 1/6 of the world humanity. 1/6 of world humanity. Hmm? 1/6 of the total population of the world that lives in India, the most populous country of the world, more than 140 crore. So providing security to such a huge population is a very, very significant challenge. we are trying to answer a question why internal security is very significant challenge for India. And the first point that I mentioned is 1/6 of the world humanity, 1/6 of the population of the world. Okay. Huge geographical coverage. Look into the area from Kashmir to Kanyakumari. Look into the geographical coverage. Providing, maintaining internal security in such a huge geographical boundaries is a very, very significant challenge. Okay. 1/6 of the world humanity, huge geographical coverage. Okay. The third point, and probably very significant point, what we talk about diversity. Now, when we talk about diversity, we talk about caste diversity. We talk about religious diversity. So many religions. We talk about cultural diversity. We talk about linguistic diversity. So many culture, so many languages, so many religion. Now, diversity means what? Conflict. Conflict between people. Now, Tamil Nadu, Hindi and non-Hindi, caste conflict, religious conflict, cultural conflict, linguistic conflict, huge diversity. All right. So, first three factors I have given you. Let us look into some more important factors why internal security is a major challenge for India. Other point that I would like to add here is nature of Indian state. Nature of Indian state. Now, what do I mean when I say nature of Indian state? What do I mean? When I say nature of Indian state, what comes to our mind? Or you can say nature of Indian state and polity. Nature of Indian state and polity. Means basically what I'm trying to say is we have a federal structure. Okay. Okay. And in federal structure you have a state government and you have a central government. Okay. And law and order and police, they are state subject. In this federal structure, law and order and police, they are state subject. Now, state subject means state government can be making laws on this. This comes to the jurisdiction. Now, this means different state governments can have a different laws, can make different laws. This is the nature of Indian state. Different state governments will have a different laws. Law and order and police is a state subject, number one. Number two, you do not have the same party government at the center in the states. This is the biggest problem. You have the BJP at the center and you have the Congress in the state. You have the BJP at the center and you have the, say, Trinamool Congress in West Bengal. Always conflict. Two things. Law and order is state subject. Second thing, this means you cannot have any unified law. You cannot have any national law related to terrorism. You do not have any national law related to terrorism. I'll get your point. So long as there is a same party government in the center in the states, fine. There can be coordination. But the moment you have a different party governments in the center and in the state, there is going to be conflict. Remind you again why we are discussing this. We are discussing this under a heading why internal security is a very significant challenge for a country like India. So this is one of the important and fundamental points. Okay. So we have a federal structure, and over and above we have a different possibility of a different party governments at the center and the state. Okay. One example I would like to give you. after 26/11. 26/11 Mumbai attack. Okay, okay, 26/11 Mumbai attack. After that, there was a UPA government in the center, and UPA government planned to create an act, and the act was called NCTC, National Counter Terrorism Center. They wanted to create a centralized body known as National Counter Terrorism Center. Okay, this could not be created. Why? Because opposition party ruled states, they objected to it. They said no, it's not possible. It was objected by opposition ruled states. So politics, because you have a different party government center in the states. So such an important act, such an important body, which could have gone a long way in creating a unified law to deal with terrorism, that could not see the light of the day only because of this structure that you have. So this is a yet another challenge that we are facing. Okay. Why it is very important, why it is very significant? Also because internal security is directly linked with development. No security, no development. Nobody would like to invest in India. Okay? Nobody would like to put FDI into India. Why? Because there is no security there. Development depends on a sense of security. Development depends on stability. We are discussing why internal security is a very significant challenge for a country like India. So internal security is directly linked with the development. If no internal security is there, no development is possible. Nobody would like to put FDI. Huh? FDI, investment. You are dependent on them. Nobody would like to do that if it is no security there. Okay. Now, let me ask you another question. If I ask you a question, whether internal security is a bigger challenge or external security is a bigger challenge, what would you answer? Internal is a bigger challenge, not the external. Internal is a bigger challenge. Why? Okay. Hmm. Hmm. अभी 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 ये मत कह देना कि जो उन्होंने कहा वही आंसर मेरा भी है. हाँ? Hmm? No, no. Sometimes I ask a question. I said, "What is your answer?" I said, "वही जो उन्होंने कहा." हाँ? फिर कुछ सवाल पूछने का मतलब ही क्या है? Hmm? The most fundamental reason why internal security is a bigger challenge is, अब एक एग्जाम्पल देने तो आपको समझ में आ जाएगा. अभी आप में से कोई, हाँ, क्लास 2:30 बजे से शुरू होती है, यहाँ पे 2:15 बजे, 2:45 आ गया, कोई नहीं क्लास में, और नीचे एक बम लगा के चला गया बाहर, है ना? बार वाले ने भी नहीं रोका उसको. He was not stopped by somebody who is sitting outside because you are a student, nobody can doubt. हाँ? हाँ? और यहाँ पे भी किसी ने नहीं देखा. हाँ, ओके, सब कुछ मैंने आपसे पूछा ना, you before entering the class, did you look within your chair? And all of you said no because you are sure. The reason is here in external security you have a known enemies. You know the enemy, Pakistan, China. You know these are the enemies. Here enemy is within, from within. आपके अपने ही दुश्मन है, क्योंकि आपने खुद ही ब्लम प्लांट किया क्या. Arguing point means enemy from outside you can identify, but when there is enemy from within, it is difficult to locate enemy from within. Huh? You might have fought with your elder brother at home, huh? But would you ever think that when I'm sleeping वो मेरा गला दबा देगा? कभी आपने सोचा ऐसे? सोच सकते हैं कभी? Huh? Arguing point. But if he does that, the question is, that is why I'm giving very crude example. Means internal security is a bigger challenge because external security, your enemies are known, and here your enemies are unknown. They are from within. Enemy within. आप में से खुद कोई किसी को हमारा दुश्मन बन जाए तो हम कुछ नहीं कर सकते हैं. That is why it is a much bigger challenge. Okay. Now come to the point of, at macro level, what are the sources of internal security threat. Okay, at macro level, इंडिया के इंटरनल सिक्योरिटी को कहां कहां से चैलेंज है. ओके, टॉक अबाउट sources of internal security threat. What are the sources of internal security threat to the country at the macro level? Okay, at the macro level. Civil disorder, civil disorder, civil war, civil disorder. Okay, agitation, movements, कोई मूवमेंट स्टार्ट हो गया, कोई एजिटेशन हो गया, कोई प्रोटेस्ट हो गया. सिविल डिसऑर्डर, एजिटेशन, protest, movement. Okay, communal violence, communal violence, mob lynching. What is mob lynching? Mob lynching, you know what is mob lynching? Yes, a people coming together and trying to take somebody's life. Mob lynching, huh? Yeah, mob lynching is always on some for some, you suspect somebody, you know. For example, uh, a beggar is going with some a beggar is going on the street, a beggar is going on the street with a small child. You consider him to be a child lifter. A beggar going with a small child, and he is considered as child lifter, so kill him. Okay, you are taking your cattle to sell in the market. Okay, and you are considered as a cattle smuggler, huh? you are taken as a cattle smuggler, huh? And you think that you are taking the cattle to smuggle it to Bangladesh, smuggle it to Pakistan. So you are taking the cattle to a market for selling, and you are considered it. This has happened many times, and you would be lynched. So communal violence, mob lynching. Okay, cross border infiltration, cross border infiltration. Okay, cross border infiltration, separatism, SAP ARATISM. Hmm? You want separatism. Jammu and Kashmir, they want a separate state. Separatism. Okay. Terrorism. Naxal violence. Huh? Naxal violence. Huh? What is also known as LWE, left wing extremism. Naxal violence. Okay. LWE, left wing extremism. आपके मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ होम में यू हैव अ सेपरेट डिवीजन दैट इज कॉल्ड LWE डिवीजन, लेफ्ट विंग एक्सट्रीमिज्म डिवीजन. Actually, official word is not Naxalism. Official word is LWE, left wing extremism. Okay. Naxal violence. Okay. Insurgency in Northeast. Insurgency in Northeast. Manipur, Meghalaya. Okay. Tripura. Insurgency in Northeast. Cyber crime. Cyber crime. Cyber crime. Cyber crime, all of you understand? Uh, we'll discuss it separately. Cyber crime. Okay. Organized violence. Organized violence. What is organized violence? What is organized? Any crime which is done in an organized manner, okay, for some financial gain. Any crime which is done in organized manner from say finance. For example, Dawood Ibrahim, he has got a huge syndicate. He is the one who is financing the terror groups. So all this will coming under the organized crime. Okay, organized crime. So organized crime, organized violence. Okay, money laundering. Money laundering is also a kind of organized crime. Huh. Money laundering. Hmm? What is money laundering? Huh? Black money को white में करें. Okay, okay. Money laundering is changing the converting illegal money into look like legal money. It's not legal, okay, but look like legal money. For example, you get 5 लाख रुपीज कैश और 1 1 लाख रुपए करके आपने 5 अलग अलग बैंक के अकाउंट में जमा कर दिया कि कोई डाउट ना करे आपको. Okay, so that would be called money laundering. Okay, so detail we'll see later on. Money laundering. Okay. Misuse of social media. Big something very. Misuse of social media. Fake news. Using social media to incite people, huh? To divide people. to polarize people. Misuse of social media, using social media for recruiting terrorists, terror groups. Okay, misuse of social media. Border conflict. Okay, so what are the what are the sources of internal security threat at the macro level? Okay, this is what I have tried to explain. These are, and this is what we will discuss at the micro level at a later stage. Okay, now coming to the point of, let us look into India's internal security problem in a historical perspective. Okay, from 47 till now. Okay, how we have faced the internal security challenge. Okay, okay, let us look into internal security, a historical perspective. How we have, after becoming independent, how we have faced the challenge. Okay, now what is the first thing that you think that we should put here when we discuss India's internal security problem in a historical perspective? Okay, what is the first thing you should discuss? India's internal security, a historical perspective. What should be the first point here? कहाँ से start हुआ? From where did we start this problem? If we discuss in historical perspective, from where did we start this problem? Huh? Huh? Partition. Okay. Okay. Huh? Partition that led to communal violence. Okay. Okay. लंच किया है? तो आवाज इतनी मेरे तक आनी चाहिए, इतना इतना बड़ा क्लासरूम नहीं है आपका. हाँ. 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 नहीं नहीं, आप बिल्कुल ट्राई कीजिए. यस. पार्टीशन, सेकंड लिंग्विस्टिक प्रॉब्लम, जो लिंग्विस्टिक की विक्टिम है. ओके. उसको डिवीजन किया गया. ओके. उसके बाद लैंड डिवीजन, जिसके इफेक्ट में नक्सलिज्म को बढ़ावा मिला. ओके. उसके बाद हमारे देश में जब से इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट लाया गया, तब से हवाला जैसे प्रॉब्लम्स को हम लोग आइडेंटिफाई किए. उसके बाद से जब कंप्यूटराइजेशन के मतलब इंटरनेट आया, उसके जरिए से साइबर क्राइम, ड्रग्स, उसके हाल के टाइम में ही सब जो फॉरेस्ट माफिया थे, जो सब चंदन काट वाले स्मगलिंग करते थे. ओके. और जो सब ओके. Okay, okay, okay. Good points. Okay. Your question is not whether you are using Google or not. No, I'm bothered about the answer. You forget about that. Okay. So internal security in historical perspective, when we talk about, as you had said, the first thing that we have to keep in mind is it is because of the British policy of divide and rule. From where it started, you have to look into that. You have to look into that. Huh? British policy of divide and rule. The first thing that we have to understand, it is British policy of divide and rule. Huh? Who antagonized Hindus and Muslims? Who incited Muslims against the Hindus? British policy. British policy of divide and rule. How? What is the example? Example is Lord Dr. Jinnah's two nation theory. Huh? And this is here from where the problem started. If you have a problem of separatism in Jammu and Kashmir, if you have a problem of communal violence, if you have a problem of cross border terrorism, what is the root cause? Root cause is two nation theory given by Dr. Muhammad Ali Jinnah, that Hindus and Muslims, they are two distinct culture, two distinct way of life, they cannot exist together, so they must be separated. As you said, partition war, huh? The issue of partition, the partition war, huh? The huge loss of lives from both the sides that we had, it is primarily on account of the two nation theory, huh? Which is, and two nation theory has been successful or not? No. Can you answer this question? यार इतनी जल्दी आंसर मत दीजिए आप. Before answering the question, think at least 2 times before you answer. आप जब जल्दीबाजी में आंसर देंगे तो मेरा सवाल पहले समझिए कि whether two nation theory has really been proved to be correct or not. The answer is no. Why? Why? The answer is no, because the total population of Muslims in India is much greater than the total population of Pakistan. The total population of Muslims in India is much greater than the total population of Pakistan. And Hindus and Muslims have been living together in India. And Pakistan could not remain united. Bangladesh was bifurcated from Pakistan. Eastern Pakistan, despite being Muslims, they could not stay together. They had to be separated. Again, a point. Pakistan could not, despite being a religious state fundament, Pakistan could not remain together, could not unite the Western Pakistan, Eastern Pakistan. In India, whatever be the problem, but we have asked any minority Muslim community here, do you want to go to Pakistan? None of them. They maybe they may have some soft corner, but none of them would be prepared to go there. What Pakistan has to offer to them? So it has failed. Anyway, besides the point. So first is British policy of divide and rule, two nation theory leading to that became a root cause of internal security problem that we had. Okay. Now, the second thing that we started during 50s, okay, that was problem of insurgency in Northeast. Okay. Problem of insurgency in Northeast. That is what we started with. Insurgency in Northeast. That is how we started. Okay. Problem of insurgency in Northeast. Okay. And the problem, even though we have solved it to a great extent, but the problem remains there. Now, that we'll discuss later on. In 1960s, to be precise, mid-60s, 1967. Okay. What started as a farmers' conflict, what started as a farmers' agitation, later took the shape of Naxal violence. Okay. So, Naxalism, what you call left-wing extremism, that began in West Bengal, okay, in 1960s. That became the another problem. So you have a left-wing extremism problem. Okay, Naxal violence. Then, if you look into that, go to 1980s, Punjab. Huh? Problem of terrorism in Punjab. Problem of terrorism, the agitation for what they call Khalistan. Huh? 1980s. Khalistan movement. Supported by Pakistan. That is what started. That became a problem. Okay. Yes. Full support of Pakistan. Khalistan movement supported by Pakistan. Full support. Okay. After that, 1990s, if you look into that, like 1990s, Okay. Now, militancy oblique separatism in J&K, Jammu and Kashmir, 1990s. The problem of terrorism. Huh? And that became a root cause. And if you look into 2000 onwards, if you look into that, you have a series of attacks. Huh? You have a parliament attack, attack on parliament attack. Huh? You have a Uri attack, you have a Pathankot airways attack, okay? You have a Pulwama attack, you have a Pahalgam attack, so on and so forth, okay? So 2000 onwards, the terrorism started in a big manner. And along with this terrorism, hmm, along with this problem of terrorism, what we started is basically what we call some other issues started, FICN, circulation of fake Indian currency notes. Okay, that started in a big way. Drugs, arms smuggling, it became a recurrent feature. Huh? Fake Indian circulation of fake Indian currency notes, fake, illegal, fake Indian currency notes. Okay, drug smuggling, and so on and so forth. That is how we started having problems. And same problem we continue to have. And after that, digitalization, DG, digitalization of Indian economy and leading to cyber crime. Digitalization, economic reforms, digitalization, and leading to cyber crime. Okay, digitalization of Indian economy and leading to cyber crime. Okay, Indian economy. Okay, economic reforms, digitalization of Indian economy leading to cyber crime. If you look into this, if you look into this, uh, uh, the term which we use, digital arrest. Huh? Digital arrest. Huh? Let me give an example. About a week back, in the afternoon, I got a call. And the person was saying that on my mobile, he said that I'm from Blue Dart Courier. I said, okay. He said that my man is waiting in your gate, okay, in your society gate, apartment gate, and he has forgotten your address, okay, and he is not able to locate your address. So I'm giving you a number, you have to call on that number. Okay, give that. I said that if he can call you, why can't he call me? My first question was, if he can call you, why can't he call me? He says his phone, there is some problem with his phone. Okay, he's not connected with the server, and so that is a problem. You please, I'm forwarding you his number, and you please call. He forwarded the number, and after forwarding the number, again he called up. Sir, I have forwarded his number. Kindly talk to him. I said, I doubt your integrity. I am not going to call him, and whatever is the packet, let him take the packet to his home. I'm not interested in that packet. He says that there is some bank document from the bank. I say, I don't want that document, let him take back. Immediately after that, I checked into the website, internet, what are the crimes that is being done in the name of Blue Dart Courier. The first thing that came up is that they would call you and they will tell you that their delivery boy is at your gate, he is not able to locate you, kindly call him. The moment you call on that number, your call forwarding gets diverted to his number. And when you doing any bank transaction, all the OTPs that will come to your number, it is automatically forwarded to his number. automatically call forwarding facility from your number will be activated the moment you call that number. Why I'm telling you all this? See, all this was not there in 2005, 2010, but why it has become? Because of digitalization. So more digitalization, okay, more cyber threat. Okay, so digitalization and cyber crime, that's related. So this is how we started uh, the internal security problems having in India. Okay, now coming to the question of what should we be covering? Okay, if you talk about internal security, what are the things that should come in our mind? क्या क्या चीजें होनी चाहिए? What are the things that should be there to ensure that internal security is there in the country? Okay, so we'll talk something about what we call we call it internal security attributes. Internal security attributes or features of internal security or characteristics of internal security. क्या क्या चीजें होनी चाहिए? Okay, the first thing, security of territorial integrity. Okay, security of territorial integrity. We are talking about attributes of internal security. So first thing is security of territorial integrity. Plus protection of internal sovereignty. आप लोगों को बार बार प्यास लगती है, बोल मैं रहा हूं, प्यास आपको लग रही है, समझ में नहीं आ रहा। प्यास तो मुझे लगना चाहिए, मेरा ग्लास तो वहां का भरा हुआ है अभी तक। आप लोगों को प्यास लग रही है, बोतल छोटा रखते हैं 200 ml का। अब बोतल लेना है तो 2 लीटर की बोतल रखो, 5 लीटर की बोतल रखो, इतनी प्यास लगती है तो आई डोंट नो। हाँ, समझदारों को समझाना सबसे ज्यादा मुश्किल है। हाँ, security of territorial integrity and protection of internal sovereignty. This is the first thing. Territorial integrity means what? Nobody should be able to take away an inch of your land. Okay, territorial integrity. Nobody should be able to attack you. Huh? And within domestic things, within the country, your government it takes all the decisions. Nobody, it's not impacted by anyone. Internal sovereignty. Huh? Security of territorial integrity and internal sovereignty. No, sovereignty दो तरीके का होता है, internal and external. Internal sovereignty means you your government, your state is independent, autonomous to make laws, whatever they decide. External means nobody from outside should become a threat to you. So internal, external sovereignty. So security of territorial integrity and protection of internal sovereignty. This is the first important thing. Okay. Second thing that comes under this is maintenance of internal peace. There should be peace within the country. Maintenance of internal peace. Okay, maintenance of internal peace, or you can also write domestic peace. It's one and the same. You can use the word maintenance of internal peace or domestic peace. Okay. Second, other thing is maintenance of law and order. Maintenance of law and order. Law and order should be perfect. Maintenance of law and order. और क्या होना चाहिए? रूल ऑफ लॉ. plus equality before law plus equal protection of law. Yes. Rule of law, equality before law, and equal protection of law. Okay. Means irrespective of the status of a person, irrespective of the caste, irrespective of the language, he should be getting the same kind of treatment. Okay. The most important thing, the most important thing, absence of fear in the minds of people, absence of fear in the minds of people. No, but everybody should be feeling secured. Huh? You can go out of the house even at midnight. You should not have any threat. Okay. Absence of fear, inculcation of a sense of security in the minds of the people. And last but not the least, what we call peaceful coexistence. All the communities, all the people belonging to different castes, different religion, different culture, they should be existing peacefully. They should be existing together. Okay, peaceful coexistence. Okay, so these are the 5 or 6 points I have given you. This is what is uh, considered, what are considered to be internal security attributes. Okay, now coming to the point of what are the factors, okay, responsible for internal security challenge at the macro level. Okay, there would be common factor in the sense that वो टेररिज्म में भी काम आ सकता है, नक्सलिज्म में भी काम आ सकता है, इंसर्जेंसी में भी काम आ सकता है. What we are talking at the macro level, the factors responsible for internal security challenges. Let us take some factors one by one. Okay, factors responsible for internal security challenges. Factors responsible for internal security challenges. Let us take them one by one. So terrorism is not a factor. टेररिज्म क्यों होता है वो हमें देखना है, इंसर्जेंसी क्यों होती है हमें वो देखना है. ओके, सो फैक्टर्स रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर internal security challenges. Okay, the first thing that we have to discuss is the most important reason is we have unfriendly neighborhood. You have unfriendly neighborhood means basically we are talking about Pakistan and China. Okay, and that becomes a major challenge, major reason. If you have a terrorism, it is because of Pakistan. If you have a if if you have a circulation of fake Indian currency, it is because of Pakistan. If I drug smuggling, it is because of Pakistan. Okay, so unfriendly neighborhood. आपको नेपाल से प्रॉब्लम तो नहीं है, आपको पाकिस्तान से प्रॉब्लम है, आपको चाइना से प्रॉब्लम है. Okay, so unfriendly neighborhood is the first important point. Okay, because if you have an unfriendly, for example, insurgents from northeast, they are hiding out, they have made hiding outs in Myanmar. If Myanmar government doesn't cooperate with you, how do you solve the problem? So first important is factors responsible for internal security challenges is unfriendly neighborhood. This was one point. Okay, the second is poverty, unemployment. Huh? Poverty, unemployment, okay, inequitable economic growth. No, I'm saying inequitable economic. What is the meaning of equitable economic growth? Rich is becoming richer, poor is becoming poorer. Okay, you have some regions which are progressing very fast: Maharashtra, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Gujarat, and on the other hand, you have some regions which are very backward. Okay, so inequitable economic growth. Rich is becoming richer, poor is becoming poorer. Some regions have grown fast, other regions have not. Inequitable economic growth. Okay? Huh? Or we can say, one line we can add, widening gap between haves and have nots. Haves and have nots. ये मतलब हो गया वाइडनिंग गैप बिटवीन हैव्स एंड हैव नॉट्स, जिनके पास है और जिनके पास कुछ भी नहीं है, उसकी खाई बढ़ती जा रही है. Rich is becoming richer and poor is becoming poorer. Okay, we call them widening gap between haves and have nots. Okay, widening gap between unfriendly neighborhood, poverty, unemployment, okay, inequitable economic growth, widening gap between haves and have nots. Now, why poverty is the reason? See, अभी let me cover. हम बात कर रहे हैं प्रॉब्लम किस लिए है. हाँ हाँ हाँ, widening gap between haves and have nots. Add further to it is what you call deficit governance. Okay, money that government spends doesn't reach down the line. Huh? Rajiv Gandhi had said, for every 1 rupee being spent by the government, by the time it reaches down the line, it remains 12 नए पैसे. 1 रुपया गवर्नमेंट खर्च करती है, नीचे जाके वो 12 पैसा बचता है. Deficit governance. Government makes the policies, it doesn't reach the people. Yes. So poor governance and corruption. Okay. This is basically, you can say that, failure at administrative front. Okay, this is basically related to failure of administration, failure at administrative front. Okay, increasing communal divide, increasing communal divide, increasing communal divide between different communities, Hindus, Muslims, we have so many communities. So increasing communal divide, that becomes a reason. Okay, okay, divisive politics. Okay, divisive politics, dividing people in the name of religion. Okay, or vote bank politics. Vote bank politics. Okay, poor criminal justice system. This is very important. Say, justice delayed is justice denied. Huh? Yes. Now, thing is that poor criminal justice system means somebody is responsible for terrorism. Okay, and now he's not getting punished. The case goes on for another 10 years, 12 years. Are you getting my point? So the poor criminal justice system, people do not have a faith on judiciary. Poor criminal justice system. Okay. nexus between nexus between police, criminals and politicians. देखिए, yes, nexus between police, criminals and politicians. Before the police officer takes the criminals to the police station, he gets a call from politician. उसको छोड़ दो हमारा आदमी. Okay, nexus between police, criminal and politicians. Okay, nexus between police, criminals and politicians. आप घड़ी देखिए, मुझे घड़ी मत दिखाइए. ठीक है, आप घड़ी देखें, खुद के लिए घड़ी देखें अपने तसल्ली के लिए. और आप थक गए हैं तो बाहर चले जाइए, कोई दिक्कत नहीं. यहाँ फॉर्मेलिटी करने, अगर आप फॉर्मेलिटी करने के क्लास में आए हैं तो वो फिर आप अपना नुकसान कर रहे हैं. हाँ, आप अगर बात करते हैं आपस में, आप अपना भी नुकसान कर रहे हैं, साथ में जो पढ़ना चाहते हैं उनका भी नुकसान कर रहे हैं. ऐसा मत कीजिए. हाँ, बहुत छोटी सी क्लास है. दिस इज़ अ वेरी स्मॉल क्लासरूम. मैं जब क्लास लेता हूँ तो वहाँ 150 बच्चे एक हॉल में होते हैं. दिस इज़ अ वेरी 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 क्लासरूम. और आपके लिए इन्फॉर्मेशन से बताऊँ, आई एम टेकिंग क्लास फॉर लास्ट 32 ईयर्स. जब आप पैदा नहीं हुए थे तब से क्लास ले रहा हूँ मैं. ठीक है, तो मेंटेन द डेकोरम. आप हमें हमेशा, मैं क्लास में ही कहता हूँ कि जिस एग्जामिनेशन की प्रिपरेशन के लिए आए हो, कम से कम उस एग्जाम का इज्जत करो. अपनी इज्जत करो ना करो, बट इतने सीरियस एग्जाम के लिए, दिस इज नॉट अ वेरी इजी एग्जाम. नॉट अ वेरी एग्जाम. एटलीस्ट मेंटेन दैट डेकोरम. हाँ, कोई जबरदस्ती तो बांध के खानी है आपको ना. ठीक है. एंड लेट मी टेल यू वन मोर इम्पोर्टेंट थिंग. अभी तो बहुत लंबा चलना है. I am not one of those teachers who is going to tell you stories and who is going to crack jokes in the class. मैं वैसा हूँ ही नहीं. जो the job which I am doing it very seriously. तो मैं आपको यहाँ पे हंसाने के लिए नहीं आया हूँ, खुश करने के लिए नहीं आया हूँ. आप मेरे से खुश ना भी हों तो कोई आपको, हाँ, if you have not satisfied with what I am teaching, that is a different thing. But otherwise मैं आपको खुश करने नहीं आया हूँ. मैं अपनी, अगर खुश करने आया हूँ तो अपने जो पढ़ाने से उससे खुश करने के लिए आया हूँ. मेरा उधर ऑब्जेक्टिव नहीं है. आई एम नॉट वन ऑफ दोस्त. नो, नॉट. एंड लेट मी टेल यू, आई एम कंसिडर टू बी अ वेरी वेरी खड़ूस टीचर. Very very खड़ूस. Because I just focus on what I am supposed to do. Okay, so kindly don't mind for my words. All right. Okay, last few points that I wanted to do. Okay. We are discussing that why internal security challenges are there. So one important point is inability of the state, huh, to resolve the grievances of people. Resolve the grievances of people. Meaning thereby, people have their grievances. People in Northeast, people in Jammu and Kashmir, huh? People anywhere, they have certain expectations from the government. Farmers in the country, no, why farmers agitation was there? Why farmers were agitating? Because they had certain expectation from the government. And when government is not able to resolve those grievances, they take the path of agitation, and that becomes a problem of internal security challenge. It's very simple. So inability of the government or the state to resolve the grievances of the people is one of the fundamental reasons ग्रीवांसेस में आपकी जो शिकायत है, हाँ, जो आपके इश्यूज हैं, टू रिजॉल्व द इश्यूज ऑफ द पीपल, हाँ, inability of the state to resolve the grievances of the people. Okay, and this is because of, इसको हम एक और तरीके से देख सकते हैं, rising expectation of the people. Rising expectation of people, what people expect from the government. Okay, rising expectation of the people. Okay, and its fulfillment. और यहां पे ऐड कीजिए गैप, gap between rising expectation of the people and its fulfillment. What people expect from the government, okay, and what government gives out, how it is full. There is a gap between the two. Okay, so that leads to people want something, government is not able to do that. Okay, for example, farmers, they want, okay, throughout the country they want, what they want, MSP for all the minimum support price for all the product. Government is not ready to give. It's just with that. Okay, and that will create a problem of internal security. Okay. Last point, corruption, both political plus bureaucratic. Okay. So, at a macro level, what are the factors responsible for internal security challenge? I have mentioned this. Okay. Now, let us come to the final aspect of our discussion. Okay. There is something, if you look into previous year paper, you will find they have asked a question on what is called internal security doctrine. Internal security doctrine. Doctrine is what? Doctrine is basically a philosophy. Okay, doctrine is basically policy. Whether our government has any internal security philosophy, any internal security policy, क्या हमारी सरकार के पास. Okay, for example, we talk of foreign policy. So similarly, do we have any internal security doctrine? Is there anything black and white into, say, 200 pages, and the government can say that this is our internal security policy? We do not have. 4 years back, this question was asked in the UPSC examination. What, according to you, should be India's internal security doctrine? What, according to you, should be the India's internal security philosophy or India's internal security policy? Okay, हम फॉरेन पॉलिसी की बात करते हैं, हाँ, हम ट्रेड पॉलिसी की बात करते हैं. तो क्या हमारे पास, डू वी हैव any document which we can say that this is the internal security policy of government of India? And if there is a problem of insurgency in northeast, this would look into the pages, what should be done. If there is a problem of terrorism in Jammu and Kashmir, this would turn the pages and find out how the terrorism has to be dealt with. If there is a problem of Naxal violence, this would be looking into those pages and find out. Do we have such doctrine? The answer is no. The question is, what should be India's internal security doctrine? Okay, now the first thing, the first component of India's internal security doctrine. Okay, for example, if you have to be, if you happen to be India's home minister, if you happen to be India's home secretary, and you are assigned the task of preparing a security doctrine for government of India, what you would be including in that? Okay, let us take first. We will not be able to complete this. We'll do it in tomorrow's class. But let us take the first doctrine. I call it a political doctrine. Okay, first thing is political doctrine, the first component of our. Now, why political doctrine? What is the political doctrine? Why do we call it a political doctrine? Okay, because many problems of internal security, okay, many problems of internal security are primarily political in nature. Many problems of internal security are political in nature. For example, demand for Bodoland in Assam. Okay, demand for Naga limb in Nagaland, separate state. Naga, they are separate state. Okay, demand problem of separatism in Jammu and Kashmir. This is political in nature. Manipur, huh? Metis and Cookies fighting. Huh? So many of the problems are political in nature. Okay. So if there is a in political doctrine, we need to mention is what should be done if we have how to deal with the problem of separatism. Okay. Now, for example, there should be clear cut policy. If somebody is demanding regional autonomy or cultural autonomy, that must be considered. For example, Bodo people, they wanted some regional autonomy. We gave them Bodoland Territorial Council. It has been created. No issue in that. But if Nagas are demanding, if Nagas want to want us to separate from, they want to secede from India, you know, that must be dealt with a heavy force. Okay. So the first important doctrine that we must must have, okay, is the political doctrine, and in that, uh, how to deal with separatism, how to deal with the problem of insurgency, okay, how to deal with. So this is what is to be discussed in that. So the first is the political doctrine. Okay, uh, when we start tomorrow, we'll start with the socio-economic doctrine. Okay, thank you so much. Yes. Yes.
सर एक सवाल था सर सर ये सर इंटरनल सिक्योरिटी में क्या सर बायो वार्ड मतलब ये जो हम सर कोविड से गुजरे हैं या फिर उसके पहले जो सर निपा वायरस आते ये सब सर नहीं आएगा.
See, this is a part of this is a part of general security, modern concept of security. But internal में नहीं आएगा, not in internal. Okay.
सर जो भोपाल गैस और सर जो हमारे जो सर न्यूक्लियर को लेके सर.
No, no, no. See, that is a human security. You know, that comes under human security, not as internal security. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.